With an eager smile and careful eyes, Jingles the Clown scanned the crowd for his next playmate. He loved the children oh so dearly. The summer festival was the perfect opportunity to find new friends. He made his way through the throng of festival goers. He smiled, laughed, and handed out balloon animals before meandering off. He loved making people happy like this, but his true joy was in bringing happiness to the lonely ones. His mission was toward the ones without a friend, the ones without loving parents. It broke his colorful little heart to see a child with no one to play with. He would find these poor children and give them the greatest gift of all, the gift of a friend. It wasn't long before he found the child he was looking for. She was a little pink puffball sitting alone, lapping at an ice cream cone with an irate look on her face. And when I say pink, I mean she was pink, literally from head to toe. She wore an old-fashioned bright pink dress. Her shoulder-length hair was also a vibrant pink, with the sides drawn up into pigtails. She looks like a little antique doll, Jingles thought with amusement. He noted her vexed expression, a scorned child in need of consoling. As if in confirmation, an overzealous lick sent the lone scoop of ice cream tumbling off the cone. It hit the ground with a wet splat, and the child's expression went blank as she stared at a ruined treat. Her jaw muscles tightened, and little by little her face reddened. Within moments, it was as red as the paint plastered over Jingles' mouth. Jingles hesitated, fearing that a tantrum was imminent. But instead of losing her cool, she exhaled with a noisy puff, and the redness drained from her face. She discarded her now empty cone with a disdainful flick. It skittered along the stone walkway and disappeared into the wandering crowd. A middle-aged man shot her a disapproving glance. With an annoyed sigh, the girl sat back on the bench to watch passers-by. Jingles approached her with a jaunty shuffle. "Oh, I'm sorry about your ice cream," he said. "And who might you be?" The girl regarded him with a skeptical glare. "Oh, me? Why, I'm Jingles the Clown. Pleased to meet ya. What's your name, little girl?" Jingles stuck out his hand. "Erica," she replied in a flat tone. She accepted his hand with a half-hearted squeeze, skeptical glare not abating. "Wow, I really like your hair," he complimented. "Goes perfectly with your dress." "Yeah, thanks," she said with a hint of sarcasm. Jingles felt a little stab of annoyance, but he continued. "Pink, like cotton candy. Don't see that very often." "Nope." "Hey, I couldn't help but notice you were feeling down." Jingles changed the subject. "So I thought I'd come over and see if I could cheer you up." "Okay," she said in an annoyed tone that made it sound more like a question. Jingles sat down on the bench beside her. "So what's eating ya?" he questioned. Erica took a deep breath and gazed into the crowd, livid storm clouds brewing behind her visage. "My big brother was supposed to accompany me to the festival, but he left me sitting here to go hang out with his idiot friends." As she spoke, her face reddened, indicating her barely contained anger. "Oh, I see," Jingles consoled her. "I understand how you feel. I should be having fun with all the other clowns, but they sent me back to our car to get more balloons for the children. But when I came back, they had all left, so I guess we're both alone." Erica gave him a derisive snort. "But tell you what," he continued, "how about we keep each other company? I'll even help you find your mean old brother and give him a piece of my mind." She shot him a brief, stone-faced glare. "Sure, whatever. Apparently, I've got nothing better to do," she said with an impudent tone and wry smile. Yeesh, such a charmer, Jingles thought. I can't possibly imagine why her brother wouldn't want her around. And so they set off to enjoy the festival together. Jingles worked his best effort to turn Erica's rather pronounced frown upside down. All the while, he endured her prickly attitude. He made her a balloon hat and bought her a few tries at some of the games. He told her his best jokes. most of which only earned frustrated groans from the child. But he hit pay dirt with one particularly awful pun, delivered in a particularly hammy way. It earned the ghost of a grin and a quickly suppressed snicker. Her mood softened, though only slightly, when he bought her a replacement for her ruined ice cream. But Jingles didn't see the suspicious way the concession stand worker looked at him. The man leaned over to mumble something in his coworker's ear, only to be hand-waved away. He narrowed his eyes at the pair meandering away from the stand. He considered putting a bug in security's ear. He thought they should know about the creepy clown and the otherwise unescorted little girl. But he shrugged it off and returned to his duties. With that hair and getup, she's probably part of the act. A father-daughter duo. I'm worried over nothing, he mumbled to himself. And with that, he forgot all about the odd pair. As the festivities waned, it became clear that they weren't going to find Erica's inattentive brother. I don't suppose you saw your brother anywhere? Jingles questioned. If I did, you'd have been the first to know, Erica retorted. Well, darn, and I didn't see the other clowns either. Jingles stomped his foot and snapped his fingers in a pantomime of disappointment. But tell you what, I've got the keys to our car, so let's turn the tables on them. I'll give you a ride to your house and then go home myself. An odd twitch flickered across Erica's face, but she said nothing. We'll leave them stuck here looking for us after the festival, just like they left us. How does that sound? Sounds good to me, Erica replied with a wicked smile that made Jingles flinch. It was the first full smile that he had seen on the girl, and there was nothing joyful about it. She seemed to have one hell of a mean streak in her. Jingles imagined she could grow up to be quite the Hellcat. And with that, the two of them left the festival. At the car, Jingles opened the door with a flamboyant bow. He gestured for Erica to climb inside, a caricature of a prince opening a carriage door for his princess. She groaned and rolled her eyes before obliging. Jesus, what's her problem? Jingles wondered. A few adults looked upon them with suspicion, but like the concession stand worker, they brushed it off and forgot all about them. The news broadcasts would remind them, however, but that wouldn't be until much later. As for now, the two sped off, unopposed into the distance in Jingles' rusty old hatchback. They rode in silence, with Erica glaring at Jingles with her characteristic irritation. It was Jingles who broke the silence. So I was thinking, he began, it's a shame that your dumb old brother ruined your fun. And since we've become such great pals, how about you come back to my house to play? To Jingles' chagrin, Erica said nothing. She only sat there, regarding him with contempt. He suppressed his growing anger and continued. We'll have such great fun. I have video games, balloons, a petting zoo, and all the cake, candy, and ice cream you can eat. You can play all you want, and I'll take you back to your parents when you get sleepy. Again, the girl said nothing, but a small smile had begun to creep onto her lips. Jingles smiled as well. What do you say? Maybe just for a few sweets, she relented. Jingles' smile broadened. It was near dark when they arrived at Jingles' dingy abode. He guided his vehicle into the cracked, weed-choked driveway and killed the engine. It went out with a shudder, masking Jingles' own shudder of excitement. A wry smile crossed Erica's face. This it? She mocked. Shouldn't you be living in a circus tent or whatever? Jingles quelled the urge to strike the child. Well, that would be proper, he replied. But try telling that to the city's zoning board, like arguing with a brick wall. Jingles didn't expect much of a reaction, but to his surprise, the girl sniggered at this. Fair enough, she said. Jingles led Erica up the walkway and into the house. Erica looked around the shabby, disorganized dwelling with a grimace twisting her face. Let me guess, Erica began. Your clown friends are the ones who turned this place into a pigsty. Again, Jingles wanted to slap her, but he refrained. So where's the good stuff you promised? She continued. Backyard, I suppose? "Nope," Jingles said with a wicked grin. "It's all in the basement. Wouldn't want it all getting ruined by the weather, now would we?" "Guess not," Erica replied with a shrug. "Well, whatever. I didn't come here to yap, so if we're gonna play, then let's get started already." "Glad to hear it." Jingles gestured toward the basement stairs with a deep bow. "After you, m'lady." As they descended the rickety stairs, Jingles thought back to the first friend he played with. Before then, the urges were easy to suppress. Had he not caved in that first time, he would have never been anything more than a run-of-the-mill party clown. He thought he'd only try it once, just to get it out of his system. But once he got started, it was as natural as breathing. Jingles began by twisting the boy's arm. As the bones snapped and the child cried out, Jingles lost himself in a carnival of dark ecstasy. With his bare hands, he bludgeoned, twisted, contorted, and strangled the luckless boy. Every cry, every plea for mercy only fanned the flames of Jingles' mad frenzy. When the child fell silent and still, Jingles' ecstasy melted away into panic. Jingles hadn't intended to go that far. From then on, Jingles spent his days in a haze of sorrow and fear. But as Jingles would learn, the urge always comes back. Before, it was a distant, easily ignored ache. But now it had become a searing fire that demanded attention. Jingles had crossed the line, and there was no going back. He was now, and forever would be, the killer that the police called Twister. He still often feels sorrow for his crimes. He has no particular hatred for children. If you asked him why he kills, he wouldn't be able to give you a cogent answer. Sometimes he'll even get cold feet after a kidnapping. Instead of killing them outright, he'd chain them up in his basement. He would work through his indecision, usually by finding another friend. In fact, at this very moment, there was one such boy chained up in his basement. This time, however, there would be no sorrow. Erica's bratty attitude had awakened something within Jingles. He finally understood how someone could hate children. He knew he would never see them the same way again. Jingles trembled at the thought of every blow, every twist, every cry, and every scream. He couldn't wait to see that girl's haughty attitude blown away, leaving only raw fear and pain. As they reached the bottom of the stairs, Jingles flipped a switch. A naked bulb illuminated the musty basement, revealing the boy chained to the wall. His arm was in a sling and he cowered in fear from the clown. "Hey there, Tommy boy!" Jingles greeted the terrified boy. "I brought you a new friend. Her name's Erica. I hope we'll all get along." Erica stared at Jingles, mouth ajar with one eyebrow quirked up as if to say, "Really?" Jingles began to laugh, his clown suit jiggling with mirth. But Erica didn't seem afraid. She pinched the bridge of her nose in a gesture of frustration. Jingles was furious. Even now, she acts all high and mighty. "Oh, come on, Erica," Jingles bellowed. "Let's see if we can't finally turn that frown on your ugly mug upside down. What do you say, huh? What do you say, you little fucking brat?" "I don't get paid enough for this shit," she grumbled. Ignoring her odd comment, Jingles made a move to grab the girl and got the surprise of his life. Erica's eyes went wide as the moon, and her mouth pressed into a thin, angry line. With one hand, she seized Jingles' arm and gave it a violent twist, bending the clown over. She stepped her leg behind him and threw him back onto his back with a casual sweep. His skull slammed against the concrete with a dull crack. It did not end there. Erica pinned Jingles down with her forearm, and the pummeling began. His nose was the first to go, as the child's fist reduced the cartilage to mush. Her arm pumped up and down with piston-like fluidity, driving her fist into the clown. Jingles tried to get his hands in front of his face. Erica batted them away with a casual sweep, and the beating resumed. He tried to kick out from under the girl or push her away, but she pinned him down as if he were the child and not her. "Motherfucking piece of goddamn shit!" The girl yelled each word in time with her punches. His jaw snapped clean down the middle. His eye socket caved in, blurring half his vision. An errant blow obliterated his collarbone. Blood and chunks of teeth flew in a spray, painting Erica's face into a nightmare of blood and fury. Amidst the beatdown, Jingles' struggling died down to weak twitching. At this, Erica finally relented. She stood up and stretched. "God, I hate clowns," she growled. She looked over her hands, noting a piece of broken tooth embedded in one of her fingers. With a groan of disgust, she picked it out and flicked it away. It skittered across the concrete floor and ricocheted off the wall. Just like the cone, Jingles thought through the haze of delirium. Erica snatched the balloon hat off her head. She twisted it until it popped and then discarded the remnant. She moved to Jingles' side and propped him up into a sitting position. He tried to say something, but only blood-choked gurgling escaped his mangled mouth. She placed her hands around his head and twisted. A wet pop sounded throughout the basement. A brief electric jolt shot through Jingles' entire body, and then all went numb. She let him fall back to the floor with a thump. "Fuck you!" she spat. She kicked him in the side, snapping 3 of his ribs, though he never felt that. She then turned away from the ruined heap and made her way to the boy, Tommy, who was now sobbing. Jingles tried to move, but his body remained limp. He tried to breathe, but his lungs refused to respond. He was struck by how quiet things seemed. His heart had stopped. The quiet rush of his bloodstream had ceased, a sound one would never notice until it stops. A primal, hopeless terror and sorrow enveloped him. The clown's frenzied mind grasped for any straw, any possibility of fixing the damage. But he knew that it was irreparable. He knew he was dying. He could do nothing but watch through his fading vision. Erica placed her hands on the chain that bound Tommy to the wall. "Grit your teeth, boy. This'll hurt," she instructed in a gruff tone. Before the boy could say anything in response, Erica grunted and wrenched her hands. With a loud snap, the links broke apart, and Tommy screamed in agony. "Get up!" the girl yelled. "We've got to get out of here!" The boy ignored her, sobbing in a heap on the floor. With a snarl, Erica seized him by the collar of his shirt, hoisted him to his feet, and jabbed her finger at the stairway. "Walk!" she barked. The boy obeyed this time. As they made their way toward the stairs, Erica withdrew a smartphone from her dress pocket. She dialed, and a woman's brisk, cheerful voice sounded.
"I'm sorry, but I can't answer the phone right now."
"Oh, for fuck's sake," Erica mumbled. Once the voicemail greeting had played out, she barked into the phone. "All right, you freak. I did what you asked. You better have the rest of my money. Oh, and just for ducking my call, I'm charging you extra. Live with it." She jammed her thumb into the phone screen, ending the call. The pair ascended the stairs while Jingles the Clown faded into oblivion. And on that day, nothing of value was lost.